Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to another Pokemon team builder of the reimagined, reforged, remastered, whatever you want to call it. We are here continuing or finishing off Gen 5 Pokemon Black and White, this time with Tepig, Pignite and Emboar. But before we get to any team builder underway, of course, quick disclaimer just to say that this is opinion based. If you want to change anything about anything on this team, then feel free to go ahead and do so. Please do check the descriptions for the limitations we use. I want these teams to be accessible to absolutely anyone playing the game. So, with those things in mind, we don't use trade evolutions, we don't use version exclusives, because if there's a Pokemon on here that's specifically to Pokemon White and you're playing Pokemon Black, then obviously you can't use this team unless you swap back and forth between version exclusives, and then there's loads of different stuff going on, blah 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 blah. But of course, make sure to let me know in the comment section below what your teams are surrounding Emboar, your thoughts on this team as well, and just general good stuff, because it's good for the YouTube algorithm. Of course, click the like button as well if you enjoy these videos. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's quickly get to the HM slaves of this team. So as previously mentioned in the other team builders, the only necessary HM you need to complete Pokemon Black and White is Cut, and I always strongly recommend that you give Cut to the monkey you will receive in the Dream Yard at the beginning of the game before the first gym. In this sense, because we're choosing Tepig, we'll be giving a Pansage. You're always given the monkey of the type that you are strong against. Obviously we're fire type, so we get given the grass type monkey, which you give it Cut, and it means you can do the Dream Yard and the Team Plasma stuff with Bianca in the Dream Yard. That's the only needed TM to actually beat the game. Of course, I've also recommended Ducklet as pretty standard for all of them, with Surf, Fly and Dive. And then if you do want to be moving those strength boulders all around to get those additional items, I recommend Scraggy for that. Pretty standard stuff. Without further ado, let's get into this. On to the first team member then, you guys, and of course we have our starter, which is Emboar, and I've gone with a very outrageous sort of set this time around for Emboar. I like to mix it up, as you guys know. I like to be a bit out there, try something new, give you guys something different to try out, because a lot of people go with the very standard sort of stuff. This time around I've gone with a mixed Emboar. Its special move pool is actually really nice, other than its fighting type move. So this time around I've actually gone with a minus speed nature, because it's already base 65 speed, so I was like, it's already pretty slow. So if we have Hammer Arm as our move that's lowering our speed, if we're going to get outsped anyway, it's not really going to matter. And then for our special type moves, Flamethrower, Scald, Grass Knot, really nice coverage of Fire, Water and Grass on your starter Mon. Obviously that Hammer Arm also is going to do base 123 physical attack. You can run this thing as a physical attacker by all means and run Flare Blitz, or I think it gets Heat Crash as well, which is really underrated, and just run the typical standard physical set with things post-game like Stone Edge, Earthquake, all that good stuff. So if you wanted to run that as well, I completely understand. I wanted to go something a little bit out of the box this time around, go with a special one. In terms of variety through the game, this thing's really good. It absolutely demolishes the first 3 gyms by itself. You don't need to worry about anything until after the 3rd gym. If you pick Tepig as your starter, you use the monkey to be able to beat the 1st gym. By the 2nd gym, you'll have a Pignite with Arm Thrust, which will just absolutely obliterate them. Chuck a Chesto Berry on there to stop the hypnosis from the Watchog. And then by the 3rd gym, if Emboar's still your only team member, you'll be wildly overleveled and absolutely demolish everything with Flame Charge and Arm Thrust and all that sort of good stuff. In terms of the alternatives, of course it's the starter, so the other 2 alternatives, of course, Samurai or Superior. But if you want a different fire type, definitely Darmanitan. Normally this thing is physical, base 123 attack, so the physical fire type in Generation 5.0 always recommend is Darmanitan. Of course, Blaze ability, because it's your starter. Fantastic, really good through this generation. It's a cult favourite coming out of Generation 5. I feel like people, a lot of people like Emboar, or a lot of people dislike Emboar. It goes back and forth, obviously, because it was the 3rd generation in a row that the fire type was also part fighting, obviously following Blaziken and Infernape, and by a mile it is considered the worst of all 3, but with the other 2 being as hyper offensive as they are, you can see why. But this thing's still very good, very versatile. Like I said, really nice coverage. Give this set a go if you haven't already. It will actually surprise you. Being able to use Scald and Grass Knot and Flamethrower is just really nice. It's our first team member. It is Emboar. On to Pokemon number 2 then, you guys, and we have a Mon that I think is one of the most underrated Pokemon to come out of Generation 5, and that is Sigilyph. Now, as previously mentioned with Emboar, you don't actually need to catch him on until after the 3rd gym, which is why this time around I haven't actually got a second team member until after the 3rd gym. You will use your starter until Route 4, the Desert Resort, which is where you will finally catch a Sigilyph. This time around we're going with a Modest Nature, Psychic, Air Slash, Shadow Ball, Charge Beam. Charge Beam for a chance to increase that special attack by 1. Shadow Ball, nice coverage and good stab moves in Psychic and Air Slash. Modest base 103 special attack boosted. Don't need to boost that speed, it's already base 97. This thing can take a hit with averages of 80 in the defenses and 72 HP. 58 attack stat is awful. Do not put fly on your Sigilyphs. Yes, that's a shout. Yes, that's a dig. Do not put fly on your Sigilyphs. I will yell at you. Magic Guard is a very good ability, which means it can only be hit by actual direct attacking moves, which means things like Toxic, Status. It cannot be hurt by. Weather Condition as well, it cannot be hurt by. Of course, the alternatives for a Psychic type this time around. The one that is accessible to everyone that we put on another team was Mashana. The other one, of course, is Behemoth on the other two teams. Of course, the other alternatives which are popular amongst you guys, I've seen in the comment section, are Reuniclus and Gothitelle. But of course, they are version exclusives, which is why they're in the alternatives. Reuniclus is massively underrated if you're playing for, I believe, Pokemon White is Reuniclus. Definitely give that a go. Gothitelle as well is surprisingly good with the Shadow Tag ability to trap people in and just absolutely murder them. Of course, you get this thing in the Desert Resort. It's a bit of an asshole to find, I will admit, but once you do get it, it will do the absolute work for you, and it will have a really, really solid time throughout the game. Like I said, its coverage is really nice. This team has really nice coverage and really nice movesets, in my opinion. It's a fantastic team member. It's our second team member. It is Sigilyph. On to Pokemon number 3 then, you guys, and in every team I try and have at least one bit of meme / stall for in the game, just for those of you guys that do like to muck around with the games a bit, not take them too seriously. If you obviously wanted to swap this thing out for something, then I'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd let me know in the comment section below what you swap it out for. But Cofagrigus is really fun to use. I had a few people when we were doing the live stream for making these saying that they didn't enjoy using Cofagrigus. It's too slow, it doesn't hit hard enough. It's not meant to. It's meant to sit there and click Toxic and then Hex and Protect, or Shadow Ball if you're just trying to go out for all out power. This thing doesn't die. Base 145 physical defense, base 105 special defense. Okay, that HP is quite low, but it's fine. Those defenses being that high means that it's very bulky. And with the Mummy ability as well, if it gets hit, it takes away certain abilities of certain things. Something can have huge power, suddenly loses all of that attack stat. It's really fun to use if you do like to just muck around with the games. Like I said, Modest Nature, boost up that special attack. We're not using any physical type moves. It's also got base attack stat 50, so don't do it, basically. Yamask you find in the Relic Castle, so get a Sigilyph, go into the Relic Castle, you get Yamask. So we've gone from 1 member to 3 members in the space of no time at all. And again, we're going to go to 4th members in no time at all as well. Level 34 is a decent time to evolve, roughly. The alternatives for the ghost types, Chandelure is the very obvious one. It's arguably the best ghost type in the game. For a special attacker, if you want a physical attacker, then Golurk is again also extremely strong with Iron Fist, Shadow Punch, and Earthquake. Or if you want my favourite ghost type coming out of Generation 5, which actually Chandelure, I should like. My second favourite ghost type coming out of Generation 5, which is Jellicent. Really good ghost types in Gen 5. Really solid typing in Generation 5. Generation 5 is just good, guys. If you don't like Generation 5, there's something wrong with you. Such a good gen. Yeah, this thing is fun to use if you know how to use it. If you don't really know how to use Stall in game, then it's going to be dull, it's going to be boring, it's going to suck. I would recommend changing it out for something else, but that's obviously completely up to you. It is your team, it's what you want to use. I like using this thing every now and again because it is fun just to sit there and laugh at things, especially certain gym battles and like these big team plasma dudes that are meant to be the almighty, and you just sit there with one mon and just stall all of them out. It's actually quite funny. Also does really nicely against Caitlyn in the Elite Four. Like literally hardly anything can touch Cofagrigus, and if they do, it's not stab, which you will have stab and you will have recovery and you will have potions, which is why this thing is so good as well. Yeah, it's so fun to use. Highly recommend Cofagrigus if you haven't used it already. It's our 3rd team member, like mentioned. It's Cofagrigus. Pokemon number 4 then, you guys. We're sticking to the Relic Castle. We've got our 4th team member before the 3rd gym. So you've had just 1 up to the 3rd gym. And before you've even done the 4th gym, you've now got 4 team members. They all come at once. I've gone with Caracosta for our water type through this generation. A few of you called it in the comment section of the last one. This thing's massively underrated, in my opinion. The ability to get Shell Smash, which means that 63 speed doesn't mean nothing. You don't worry about lowering those defenses because it's got base 133 physical defense, so lowering it 1 stage is going to do nothing. Maybe lowering that special defense isn't going to hurt you. Don't try and take a special attack from this thing. But any physical attackers, this thing is just going to sit and click Shell Smash, and then stab type moves or crunch. Crunch because it's good against Elite Four, as I've mentioned multiple times. Waterfall, which is why I didn't put Waterfall in the HM Slaves, because you don't need it, because Caracosta's going to be running it. Rock Slide or Stone Edge post-game, depending on what you want to do. Crunch, like I said, nice bit of coverage for the Elite Four. Shell Smash to set up. Setup is broken in-game. Getting that attack, and even that special attack if you're running a special one, to +2 is just going to do absolutely bits. And you can guarantee take one hit no matter what, every battle if you're at full health anyway, because this thing has Sturdy, which was changed in Generation 5 from, instead of just not being able to take moves like, instead of being able to take moves like Sheer Cold, Horn Drill, Guillotine, or that sort of stuff, it now is every move. This thing can't be one-shot no matter what, unless it's like a two-hitting move like a double kick springs to mind, but if a double kick is killing this thing, then it's a massively overpowered double kick. The alternatives I've gone for are Seismitoad, because we haven't showcased it in any of these team builders. Swanna hasn't been showcased either in Jellicent, because it's my favourite. Yeah, really solid alternatives. The water types in this generation are back and forth, in my opinion. Like I said, there are some that are better than others. I know a lot of you have been rooting for Basculin, so Basculin can also be another alternative for this thing if you really wanted to run out there with a head-smashing Basculin. I can't even remember if it gets head-smash. Waterfall, Crunch, Basculin with adaptability, I'm sure could do absolutely bits. Of course, the location, you get it in the Relic Castle. Make sure you choose the correct fossil. You only get one, and then you need to go back to Nacrane City and get the fossil redone, and I think it starts at level 25. The only thing I'm going to say is just be aware that the fourth gym might be a little bit... It's not going to be hard, but it's not going to be easy either. The Emolgas obviously can hit Pignite, Caracosta, and Sigalith, so Yamask is going to actually put in an absolute shift in that gym. When I ran through Black and White with this team, Yamask was MVP for me going through that gym. He just absolutely just halted everything and didn't really care, and it was really quite funny. But yeah, this thing's really good. Like I say, if you can set up a Shell Smash against things like Getsus and N and stuff, like you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. It's just going to up that speed. That's why we've gone with Adamant Nature. You can run Jolly if you want to. If you're going to be running Shell Smash like every battle, you can run Jolly just to try and have that speed just a little bit more. I'd understand that. Volt's at 37, which is a decent rough level for mid to late game. Yeah, really good mon. Please give Caracosta a go if you haven't already. It's our fourth team member. It is Caracosta. On to Pokemon number 5 then, you guys, and if any of you suffer with arachnophobia, I'd strongly suggest that you either pause the video, skip ahead a little bit, or whatever, because we have Galvantula on the screen, a cult favourite coming out of Generation 5. I love this thing. This thing has always been a staple in some of my Gen 5 teams. I will admit, the only thing that lets this thing down is the movesets. It very much just runs very standard sets. Signal Beam over Bug Buzz, because Bug Buzz, I did a limit of what the level could be. I think I did Getsus' Ace, and I think it actually learns Bug Buzz higher than the level of Getsus' Hydra, so we've gone with Signal Beam. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Thunder. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be clicking Thunder because of the ability Compound Eyes, which boosts its accuracy to I think it's 98%. So Thunder at 98% accuracy is really, really nice. Of course, Thunderbolt and Volt Switch are there if you need to get up out with Volt Switch, or if you just need a hard-hitting move that you know is guaranteed going to hit. You can click Thunderbolt, of course, because it's still base 90, 95 power, I can't remember which it is. Modest Nature, base 108 speed means we don't need Timid whatsoever. This thing is going to outspeed so many things. So give it in that Modest Nature just to boost up that base 97 special attack to above 100, so it's just doing that extra bit of damage. The alternatives this time around, 3 mons that we have not showcased in the team builders, unfortunately we couldn't find space to fit them in. Zeb Striker, insanely quick and actually hits harder than a lot of people think. Electros, I know a lot of you guys are actually hoping for me to put Electros on the team. Electros can be more of a mixed attacker. You can run things like Wild Charge or Thunderbolt, Crunch and Flamethrower. It gets so much coverage that I can see why a lot of you guys would like Electros, and obviously being in Generation 5, actually still doesn't matter now. It has no weakness. Being Electric type with Levitate means that it has no weakness. It is still the only mon that has no weaknesses now that Fairy type become a thing, and things like Sableye and Spirit Tomb actually got a weakness. And then finally Scolipede. Again, I couldn't find a place for Scolipede in the team, so really solid bug type. Things like Mega Horn, Poison Jab, post-game Earthquake is just going to do absolute bits because it hits like an absolute truck. And of course, the location to find your Joltik early on is in Chargestone Cave. Really common encounter, so it shouldn't take you too long to find that modest one either. Yeah, this thing's great. I know a lot of you love this thing. It's fantastic. It's our 5th team member. It is Galvantula. And then finally, you guys, the final team member, and sticking inside of Chargestone Cave, which means you get your whole team before Skylar. We have Ferrothorn. This thing, again, loved in the competitive scene. Surprisingly really good in-game. I love this moveset and just the coverage that it gets. It's absolutely hilarious to me. Again, a bit on the bulkier side along with Cofagrigus. Don't put this thing near a fire type, but then there's no fire type gym leaders or anything of that sort, so you should be okay using this thing. Power Whip, Iron Head, Poison Jab, Bulldoze, like it's a really nice coverage. I don't have a poison type, you don't have a ground type. Bulldoze lowers thing speed, although if you're running Gyro Ball, I wouldn't recommend Bulldoze, because obviously Gyro Ball does more the quicker the people are, and you don't want to be lowering that speed, because Gyro Balls can do less damage. So just go back and forth with that. Iron Head I prefer. If you want to run the Gyro Ball minus speed set, then that also makes complete sense. I wouldn't put that against you. Power Whip, hard hitting stab, Poison Jab, bit of coverage. Adamant, base 94 physical attack is not bad for a bulky mon. Boosting that up with the Adamant nature, it's going to be really nice. Base 131 physical defense, 116 special defense. Basically this team, physical attackers just can't touch this team. Like, they just can't. You have Kofag, Caracosta and Pharaoh that just laugh at all of these things. Obviously the Iron Barb's ability as well. You chuck a Rocky Helmet in game on this thing, so much chip damage. Like, people will hit you with a physical move, take chip damage from Iron Barb's and Rocky Helmet, and then you're going to hit them with a stab, Adamant, Power Whip, or Iron Head, and just do even more damage because it actually hits harder than a lot of you realise. Yeah, this thing's great. Absolutely great. Alternatives are, of course, Grass type, Physical Grass type. I'm always going to recommend my boy Levani. Kling Clang, we didn't show off in the team builders this time around. Also in Chargestone Caves, if you want a different steel type, you have Kling Clang. Or another slow, really hard hitting steel type I recommend is Escavalier. Really underrated, things like Iron Head and Mega Horn in game. Also Poison Jab or X Scissor. Really just hard hitting moves from Escavalier there. Of course, remember that you need to catch a Shelmet, which I think is version exclusive, and then you need to trade with someone with a Carablast, which not a Shell. Is it Shelmet? I can't remember. Like, again, it's so hazy, but yeah, it can be a really annoying one to get hold of. But Pharaoh does the absolute work. I highly recommend you use this thing as our final team member. It is Pharaoh. But with that being said, you guys, that is going to be it for today's Pokemon team builder revolving around Emboar, of course. If you have enjoyed, definitely make sure to smash that like button for us, so support towards the channel and the series. Let me know what team builders you want to see remastered next. I know that you guys have been asking for Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Fire Red Leaf Green, Black 2, White 2, X and Y, all the games. I promise I will try and do my best to get to them in the order that you guys want, and hopefully up to the standards that I set myself as well. Like I said, check the description. You can join our Discord and all that good stuff. You can become a member of the channel as well, get your little emotes and all your perks. We're closing to 10 members on the channel, which would be absolutely fantastic if we could hit that by the end of the year. That's now my main goal on the channel, because I feel like 15,000 subscribers is a bit of a push. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a massive favour and click the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate that as well. With that being said, you guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!